Hey guys, we're Trick and River, and welcome back to Queer Stream Matters. River, you have to say hi. Hello.
Hello.
Today we are doing part 2 of my video on Marley. She is a comedian, artist, writer, athlete, and all-around cool trans lady. And in one of my more recent videos, I posted a part 1 of reacting to her most recent article. I didn't really do like a proper outro or anything because I was gonna come back and record the rest later, but River actually ended up falling asleep and they wanted to participate in the video, and then our schedules just didn't line up. Like, I went home for my brother's birthday, River went home to visit their sister, and their sister was visiting home from college. And what else did I do the last 2 weeks?
Just we've been working a lot.
I've worked like 6 days a week the last 2 weeks, so we're hustling, we're grinding. And today we're back with a new video, so yay! This video is gonna be taking a bit of a new shape because as of right now, there's some drama going on Instagram that's like piping tea in the trans community. We're gonna be talking about that as well as going over the rest of the video, or the rest of the article in this video, and recapping the most recent video. So I still haven't finished reading the article, so it's still gonna be my first reaction, but I want to give my reflections as I've been thinking about the first half of the article I read over the last couple of days, and I rewatched the video yesterday morning before work, so that I made so that way I could get more familiarized with Marley's story and remember where I picked up off of. These are my notes. Okay, where I've been, I already told you I was visiting my parents, and River was in Connecticut visiting their parents. Slay. We've been preparing for Wicked Winter. That was another thing I wanted to talk about. We're doing another Artist Alley. The artist who sponsored it last time, Killjoy, / Emily, she's doing it again for like Christmassy vibe. Instead of Halloween this time, it's going to be December 13th at the Bayonne Public Library on the 2nd floor in the gallery room. And River and I are going to have a bigger table this time with more Queer History Matters merch, with more River's original art, maybe some stuff in frames if I can get a good setup going on. And it's hopefully going to be a lot of fun. So if anyone wants to come hang out and have some spooky festive fun, let me know. And show up for your local artists at the Bayonne Public Library in Hudson County, New Jersey. If you don't come, you're gay. Why are you laughing?
Because I thought it was being silly.
Anyway, important part of this that has come out since the last part of the video. Marley is getting evicted in I think it's either 20 or 19 days. I think it was like 11:30 is the day that she's looking to move out. If anyone in New York City is looking to rent to a trans woman, please reach out to her. Her @ is Marley is Marley on Instagram, and 18 days. Thank you, River. And they're going through a hard time, or she's going through a hard time right now. No pronouns in bio. I can't. I don't know if it's she or they. But Marley, I think she. I don't know. Either way, cool person though. We be respectful. If anyone knows what pronouns Marley goes by, let me know in the doobly-doo. But hold on, let me show you all the post. So this is the post that I'm talking about on Instagram. It says, NYC help a girl out. After a 1.5 year long battle with our corrupt venture capitalist, evil Zionist landlords, we are forced to move out in like 20 days. The same landlords are screwing over so many others in the city. I will be someone's roommate or housemate. I'm for hire in any city in any state, but would love stability. We need to round up landlords and publicly humiliate them. Which, T. She also ran the NYC half marathon in heels for trans rights, which is so cute and slay and con. Like, look at that, that's slay. Like, literally athlete, icon, queen. We love her. Okay. But anyway, there's been tea within the last 2 hours while I was at work, right? I found out about Marley through T-Boy Wrestling, which is an event that basically sounds exactly what it sounds like. It was trans boy wrestling. I didn't go in person to the NYC date because I was gonna go with River, but River was busy, so I was like, oh, let me just like get the virtual one, we can stream it. But it got nuked off of Twitch like immediately.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're just gonna stream it on Twitch and get nuked halfway through, why did you charge admission in the first place? And also, if you're charging admission, you should be paying the host, which will bring me to my next post. 2 hours ago, Marley posts this. I'm going to read the black and white text first and then the caption next. If you use trans women for their labor and imagine an image, If you use trans women for their labor and image, you must pay the price. Every queer wrestling event I've performed inside of a ring has either cut my pay last minute, owes me money, or exploits my body for nickels. Putting my body/mind through the ringer at what cost? I will write something about all of this one day, but for now we grind. Send me gigs, or let me Zoom with the boss. Trans Embezzlers Anonymous. T-Boy Wrestling, more like you owe me money. Words I will no longer accept being called. Diva, queen, mother. Sorry if I've called you queen, or any of those terms. My bad. My only option is to beg a man on GHB to cast me in his movie. I don't know what that means. T-Boys transition and forget about misogyny. T, clock that shit. Sometimes I catch myself being misogynist. I'm like, wait, no, Trick, stop doing that. That's dumb. Cut that shit out. Trans men are not excused from being misogynists. And if you're a trans man, please be nice to women. They are cool. Check yourself. Be nice to women. Trans folks can embezzle too. Converting the gender marker on my passport to B for brick. Soon I will create a sincere front-facing apology to the tender queer community. I need to tell my therapist they're annoying the fuck out of me. It's time for a revolution. The caption is, part of masculinity is taking accountability. I will never be a silent woman. Hence why I should be speaking my mind. And that's why y'all love me, to be honest. My comment on my Instagram that I posted is here. I said, at T-Boy Wrestling, this is so disappointing. Please pay trans women. And now we're going to go to her Instagram story. And then we're going to go to so T-Boy Wrestling is run by trans dudes of LA, which has like a subsection called Trans Dudes of NY. And there's beef going on. One of the guys who owns it was fucking embezzling money and not sharing money with their trans community, which is fucking cringe. And I'm sad because some of that money was money that I was hoping was going to a good cause, because I did spend money on this. River and I did buy one virtual ticket, and I even had a watch party. I invited people over. Me and a couple of friends from college came over and watched T-Boy Wrestling together, and we're really disappointed when it got nuked off the internet. And like, we're having a good time at the event, but it was really unfortunate because I feel like it started super late and it wasn't very accessible. Like, they tried to do some accessibility by having like what's it called, like they had a sign language interpreter, which that sign language interpreter fucking ate. They were doing a really good job, but I feel like it was hard to understand what was going on. There wasn't any subtitles either, which was really hard. But you know what? When Marley was performing, she fucking put the words that she was saying in back of her and made it a lot more accessible. So shout out to Marley for that. That was fucking tea. Anyway, we got Marley's kitty. Very cute and important. Upside down news. Apartment/rooms that are move-in 11:30 send my way. If your parents are your landlords, let me sublet for free. Girl, I wish I could. I can't even afford to pay my own parents. But no, for real, if you are able to live with your parents, that is a huge privilege. And you should appreciate that if you're able to. It's for real, you know. Cute Marley. Trying not to be embarrassed for help and or not having to be embarrassed asking for support in search of stability. Very proud of you. She has a single coming out a week from today after a comedy show, so that's something to be excited about. And then these are more like black and white text I'm gonna read. Every queer wrestling event I performed inside of a ring has either cut my pay last minute, owes me money, or exploits my body for nickels. It's the same thing. Hold on. No, there's more. Hold on. It's the same intro though. There's like another post after. Oh fuck! I hate when I click. So yeah, it's the full text of what the last slide of her post was as like a story. Someone commented, "What's your Venmo, mama?" And she says that's an utterly amazing question. The answer is at Marley got ear. So the at sign MarleyGottErer. So if you have some extra money and want to support a struggling trans woman, please send money to Marley. She's super cool. And go follow her on Instagram or else. Reposting posts for transparency stake from the T-Boy Wrestling creators / producers on the next slides, which is where some of the tea starts. I am deeply saddened to share that my time with TDLA and T-Boy Wrestling has come to an end. Over the past month, I've made a number of poor decisions, both personal and financial, that has caused harms to others in the community I care about. I take full responsibility for
slower.
Sorry. Why are you yelling at me like that?
I wasn't yelling. I just said read slower because I couldn't understand you.
No, I know. You said it kind of loud.
I'm sorry. I just trying to get your attention.
You can tap me like this.
I'm sorry.
I am deeply saddened to share that over my time with TDLA and T-Boy Wrestling has come to an end. Over the past months, I have made a number of poor decisions, both personal and financial, that have caused harm to others and to the community I care about. I take full responsibility for the ways my actions have impacted people's trust, finances, and emotional well-being. I am truly sorry to everyone who has been hurt or let down by me. I took on far more than I was capable of managing and allowed my own judgment, ego, and wishful thinking to override communication, boundaries, and responsibility. The debt I accumulated while trying to produce this ambitious project independently has affected not only me, but others who were counting on me to follow through with integrity. I recognize that apologies alone are not enough, and I am committed to making amends through concrete action and accountability. I am grateful that Adam and Austin of Trans Guy Supply, a talented trans creator, will be stepping in to guide the project's next chapter while I take on responsibility for fulfilling all remaining financial obligations. I have complete faith that the community will continue to thrive under their leadership, but I am also here to assist in the process however and whenever asked. I will also be stepping away to focus on my mental health and personal growth. I'm engaging in therapy, Debitors Anonymous, and other recovery and accountability spaces to better understand the roots of my behavior, learn from these mistakes, and rebuild myself as a more trustworthy and self-aware person and artist. Bro, you're not forgiven. Stop stealing money from trans people. You're a fucking asshole. I've had good experiences with Trans Guy Supply. I haven't bought any of their stuff, but they have supported Masquerade and other trans events in NYC. So I am hopeful that it's going to be a good next era, but also we might need to start over, guys. This is kind of not very cool.
It's pretty fucked up.
It's pretty fucked up. Like, you're having the same guy who embezzled money stay on your beck and call. Also, engaging in therapy and mental health care, personal growth, all that shit is great, but it doesn't
Doesn't pay anyone.
It doesn't pay anyone. Like, I'm sorry, Marley's rent is due. How is you going to therapy helping? Also, why are you paying for other people's therapy? If you have all that money from embezzlement, the fuck? Am I wrong? Also, that's money that I spent on. I spent what like $14.75 on the tickets. That's not a lot of money, but that's at least a big sandwich from Dave and Charlie's that you and I can split.
Right.
Me and River are very food insecure. We make too much for food stamps, but we don't make enough to pay consistently for our food and our rent. And we have to rely on things like food banks or our parents or our friends. Like, literally, shout out to my boss who buys me food literally every single day. If it wasn't for my boss, I probably would not eat most days. Like, I literally love him so much. Like, and I've worked in the food industry specifically to feed myself because of food insecurity. So it really pisses me off that some of my money that I could be using for my own therapy went to some asshole who's stealing from other trans people. It's fucking disgusting, and I don't forgive you. Like, sorry, apology not accepted. Be nice to trans people. It's not that fucking hard. Also, cis people are so against us right now. Can we please just have each other's support? Like, I don't care about like any of the infighting. I don't care if you're too cute or true scum or whatever the fuck is going on with that fighting or whatever we call it these days. I don't know. It's the same argument a bajillion times. Stop fighting with each other. People are dying. This is fucking stupid. Like, I'm sorry if like trans people are experiencing high rates of homelessness and like income inequality and violence. Why are we fighting each other? Stop it. Stop fighting. We're on the same team. Anyway, yeah, stop fighting. We're on the same team. River, any thoughts?
I'm just agreeing with you so far.
And this is the post that Marley reposted on her story from Trans Dudes of LA. I'm going to read the blue part first and then the bottom part here. It is with a heavy heart that I share that TDLA will no longer be producing events. In the past week, it has come to light that my co-director, Mitch Miller, has mismanaged organizational funds and incurred debts in his name. This was done without my knowledge, as I discovered that TDLA LLC was never established, as I was led to believe. Instead, all business operations and finances for TDLA events were conducted through the Print Shop LA, a company owned solely by Mitch Miller. As part of closing, this TDLA social account will be transferred to a group of trusted community members who plan to reimagine the space under a new name with new leadership and a more equitable and sustainable structure. I'm genuinely excited to see how the next generation of organizers will carry the work forward in ways that better represent and serve our community. I hope you continue to support their efforts in this transformation. I will continue with my work with T-Boy Wrestling along with the trusted, talented, and dedicated team of members as we are committed to sustainable collaboration and growth in our next phase. I'm proud to share that T-Boy Wrestling has found a new home with Trans Guy Supply, or TGS, where it will continue under new leadership and structure as a TGS-produced event. This transition will ensure that T-Boy Wrestling can thrive This transition will ensure that T-Boy Wrestling can thrive long-term with and for the community. I appreciate the grace and the patience you've shown during what has been an incredibly challenging and emotional time for everyone involved. Thank you for your continued support of the trans and queer communities who make all of this possible. With gratitude, Adam Bandrowski, TDLA and T-Boy Wrestling co-creator. And the caption's exactly the same thing.
That's fucked up, bro.
It keeps going. So this is Marley's next post. I love everyone in that community, but it's hard to be blindsided from people you trust, especially as a businesswoman who needs her bag because she's getting evicted and legally has to pay back her corrupt landlords. At a certain point, it's not about love or community. It's about straight up money I worked for.
It's true.
Honestly, sue their asses. You could take them to small claims court. This is fucking stealing. Don't steal from trans people. Stealing is wrong and bad. Don't do it. Also, why would you steal from your own community? That's fucking bullshit.
For sure.
And then, I'm an icon, bitch. So true. And you all know it. It's true. Thank you, Marley. I'm gonna see if TDLA has any other posts about it, but I think that's it. Trans dudes of NY haven't made any posts about it. Which is interesting, but okay. Anyway, so that's what's going on with the fucking community, I guess. It's a fucking train wreck. This sucks. There's no good way to put it. It sucks. Anyway, let's get back to the article about Marley and her dad. That sounds like a good place to go from. Oh, let me go through what we talked about in the last episode in case whoever's watching hasn't seen the last episode. Oh, I also wanted to share that that Mermaid Marmalade on Instagram posted a comment under Marley's post about getting evicted and shared a really cool resource for people who are looking for homes in New York. It's called Friends Homes, and it's at the @ FRIENDZH0MEZ, and it's different listings for people who are looking for sublets or looking for housing in New York City. And I think it's a really cool resource for anyone who's looking for housing. Feel free to check that out. That's super cool. Thank you, Mermaid Marmalade, for that. That's really cool. Also, thank you guys for 62 views on my last video about Marley. That was fucking awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm gonna link part 1 in the description below, as well as oh yeah, I was gonna do a research update in this video, but because I'm talking about all the tea, it's already gonna be long enough. We'll do another research update later on, but it's coming. I promise. I'm doing some cool stuff. Cool stuff coming your way. I promise. So some of the topics that were discussed in the first half of Marley's article included being a young queer kid on the internet and talking to strangers on the internet, how queerness can be desirable / rewarded online that can lead to child endangerment, how like she was talking about meeting people on like chat roulette, and for me it was more like things like Omegle, but like same thing, different shape. Everyone does that kind of stuff. And like people have been doing like scams on WhatsApp since like fucking 2008, you know? Even way before that probably.
Yeah.
But that's when I like was old enough to use the internet because I was born in 2002, and before that I wasn't old enough to really type. Like imagine like you just put like a little infant baby trick on top of the keyboard. Shits and pisses on it. Pukes on it. Spits up in the keys. Wow. No, but yeah, kids shouldn't be on the internet that young, and if they are parents, if your kids are doing stuff online they probably shouldn't be doing, please talk to them about it. I know it might be awkward and hard, but they're still your kid and they need protection. And that was part of what Marley and her dad were fighting about during that part of her life, was like her dad and her mom split up, and then like instead of being like, oh well, I was supposed to strive for that type of relationship, like I still feel like shit for being queer, and you guys get like divorced and y'all are just chilling, like what the fuck, what about me, you know? Like basically don't make your kids transition about you is the main thing I want to say about like the first half of the video. Don't make your kids transition about you. Just support them. You don't have to go all out and be like, you know, like you don't have to go crazy. Just be nice, be supportive, try to listen, try to understand. Marley talks about being ignored while coming out, and her dad made a comment about, you never asked me my gender, and it reminded me something about, like, something my mom said when I first came out. Like, I was starting to wear, like, baggier clothes, and I wanted to cut my hair short, and I wanted to wear hats more, and that kind of thing, and my mom's always been, like, a jeans girly, and she's like, well, I have, like, a big shirt on and jeans and running shoes. Do you think I look like a man to you? And I couldn't tell if it was, like, genuine, like, do you think I look like a man? Or, oh, obviously you don't look like a man because I'm dressing like you and I don't look like a man. Or, like, I don't know what she meant by it, but she was basically making my transition about her. And I feel like Marley's dad was doing the same thing to Marley, and that's not cool. Don't do that, guys. Marley talks about doing it alone in LA and paying for her own laser hair removal and HRT and sperm donation. Or sperm storage, rather. Like, you know, when you put it in the freezer for later. Her dad talks about having regrets of not asking her more questions when she was talking to strangers online, and shared some of his familial shame about, like, he was dancing one time and his mom, Marley's grandma, like, got really, really mad at him and reprimanded him for dancing and, like, acting, like, fruity. So he was doing that thing where he's like, well, I hope my kid doesn't come out queer because then they're gonna have, like, a harder life. And I feel like that's definitely something that a lot of cishet parents end up doing, is they want their kids to hide their queerness because they think it's gonna protect them. But in reality, that just makes them feel ashamed and unsafe. Like, I had this friend in high school, and she wanted to have short hair and wear, like, rainbow earrings one day to school, and her parents wouldn't let her because they were worried that if she looked too androgynous and too visibly queer, that someone was going to hurt her. And she's like, I'm really disappointed because I want to dress the way I want to dress, but I also understand where they're coming from, where, like, they don't want me to get hurt because of it. But also, hate crimes are bad. Don't hurt gay people for just existing. I definitely feel like that brings me to thinking about things like inherited trauma. When I was writing the script for this, I was thinking about my own transmasculine perspective as my father's son and my grandfather's grandchild. He doesn't really quite know what's going on. He's been not quite all there since my grandmother has passed. But I do feel like I've been seeing a more feminine side of him since she got sick and passed away. And I do feel like he's slowly unlearning some of, like, the harsh gender roles that he's grown up with. But I mean, my grandfather is well into his 80s, and my dad's, how old's my dad, like 55? How long ago was 1969? He's 56.
Yeah, I was getting there.
My dad's 56, so, like, both my grandfather and my father are both quite old and kind of stuck in their own ways. And they very much have, like, that thing of, like, well, I'm the man of the house. I have to go to work. I have to provide. I have to do this. I have to do that. And my father, he has Becker's muscular dystrophy and is on permanent disability and on, like, retirement and all that stuff. And he makes, like, $50K a year just hanging out at home on disability, and he can't really work or else they're going to take his disability away, even though he'd love to have, like, a part-time job. He just can't, like, work out of the house because he can't really walk. So it's, like, hard for him, so he'd rather just stay home and hang out with us all day. So he's, like, basically, like, me and my siblings' personal Uber driver, and he does all the dishes and the laundry for the house. So he's kind of like Mr. Mom, as he likes to say, which I think is super sexist, but I'm not gonna explain to my dad he can't call himself Mr. Mom. I'm not having that conversation with him. Jimmy, for seeing this, I'm sorry. That's a little weird.
You mean Dad? Like what?
Huh?
You mean dad? Like,
He is my dad.
I know, that's what I mean. Like, instead of Mr. Mom, like, you mean a dad.
Oh, I thought you meant my dad because I called him Jimmy. I'm like, that's his name though.
I know.
Anyway, back to my script. Cis people's guilt is not a trans person's problem. Oh wait, I was talking about trans mask stuff, and then I'm gonna go back to like general transness. Fuck, my wrist hurts. Sorry, I'm like fidgeting. My wrist is just in a lot of pain, so I'm trying to like set it. But basically, I think that part of my healing journey has been being able to rest more. I'm definitely a workaholic. I also am the breadwinner for our family, and it's hard because I feel like, you know. I'm sorry, River's going to bed in the background. I guess.
No rest while you talk.
Are you not gonna participate?
I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm just back here now.
Okay.
I'm just cozier.
But what I was thinking was, like, I feel like there's an inherited trauma for me of, like, having to be the breadwinner, having to be, like, a man and prove myself as, like, a trans man. Excuse me. And I feel like a lot of the times dads don't realize that they're trying to make you into, like, a good man. They don't realize they're pushing you into this box that can be outdated, like extremely outdated or extremely westernized or extremely rigid or extremely isolating. Like, just because I wear a skirt to work don't mean that I'm not working to provide for my family.
True.
Has your tummy ever been empty since you moved in with me? That's what matters. It don't matter what else is going on as long as my husband's fed. You know? So, basically, TLDR, I'm trying to work through some of my toxic masculinity, but it definitely affects me. And I'm gonna be the first trans man to admit this. Fuck. Sometimes I be being misogynistic. It sucks. But I'm trying to support the dolls, and part of that is with uplifting them and their voices. So I definitely recommend watching part 1 of the video I made where I read Marley's article directly, because it's a little more in depth than just like my second thoughts. Cis guilt is not a trans child's problem. If you feel bad about your child being trans or queer, that's on you. Figure it out. That's not their problem. I know you're scared of us getting hurt, but bad things will happen to children. You just gotta support them no matter what. When parents start acting supportive later on in life, it also is hard because you can be, like, grateful that they're doing better, but jealous that they haven't been doing it earlier. River explained it in the part 1 as what took you so long, and I definitely feel like there's a mix of gratefulness and anger, definitely jealousy as well, but I think that even if there's hard feelings that come up, doing better is important no matter what. Marley talks about her experience contracting HIV as well as being sexually abused, and talks about how that experience was telling her dad about it after the fact. He invited her to stay with him to recover while she had recovered from facial feminization surgery, and she talks a bit about all the different healthcare stuff that she had to go through as well as received for her transition. And I just want to say shout out to all the medical professionals who help trans people out, as well as helping out like survivors of abuse. Is very slay and very nice. Also, part of what I was talking about in my most recent video with Marley was how it's hard watching my mom be both my parents, but especially my mom, be a good parent to my younger siblings, because they deserve it and they deserve better than I had. But fuck if I'm not jealous. But when my brother turned 18 last week, I looked him in the eyes and I said, I'm grateful that you had it better than I did. And I could tell he was genuinely appreciative by the look on his face. And it just, even though it's hard watching my parents get better for them, I spent years fighting them, yelling at the top of my lungs, please get better for my siblings. And the fact that they're actually making a genuine effort and trying is wonderful. And even though I feel angry about it sometimes, I feel jealous, I'm also so grateful, and there's a lot of mixed feelings about that. But I'm so grateful that my siblings have had a better childhood than I have. And if I could do it all again, I would absolutely do it the same exact way, because my siblings had it better than I did. And I'm really happy about that. I think that's all I have written down from my notes from the first half of the video that I watched.
I think I found where we left off in the article.
Fantastic, baby.
Because it was right after she talks about her dad taking care of her and talking about HIV.
Oh,
So then it goes on to this.
yeah.
You can find the exact
Okay,
spot.
fine, hold.
I know, close.
Yeah, we didn't read the story about that part yet.
Oh, okay, might be.
When I was discharged, we went back to my dad's new house where he continued to tend to my wounds. Each night he gave me a foot massage while I wallowed in pain from the surgery. Your feet are huge, he said at one point, way bigger than mine. With that one comment, my brow instantly grew back tenfold. But then it struck me, not only was I my father's daughter, but I also may have been the only trans person in his life. He was still gaining the tools to understand who I am and how to talk to me. He only recently started getting my pronouns and name consistently right. His wisecrack didn't wind me up in the same way that his words cut from when I was a teenager. I realized that I had to meet him halfway instead of shutting him down and pushing him out. As I recovered, we took walks around the middle school where I used to play tennis while my dad coached my brother's lacrosse team. We observed young boys practice on the baseball diamond, their beer-bellied dads watching them from lawn chairs. The last time we were on that field together, we only talked about sports. Now, my dad complained about the posts he's seen on his Facebook feed from the Karens who rail against the transgender agenda and drop casual slurs at trans people using the bathroom. He pointed to the only house in the neighborhood draped in rainbow flags. Look, Marley, I think they're lesbians, but I'm not sure. We got back home and sat down outside. He asked if I would ever get more surgery. I told him, if I wake up tomorrow with a pussy, I will thank God, Allah, Vishnu, etc. A shooting pain assaulted my temples. He went to prepare me a baggie of ice and brought over a bottle of magnesium citrate, which tastes like diet Sprite, for me to chug to offset the opiates constipating me. For the next 14 hours, I shot my brains out with the door crack so he would know I was okay. Here's a photo of Marley from Marley's dad.
It really would be like that.
It could be like that. Here's another photo from Marley's dad. Around 10 days after surgery, at the end of our time together, we took a mini road trip. He was dropping me off at Can't Singers in Delhi, New York, where I would be miraculously filming a promotional material for the cruising app Sniffles with my face still swollen and bruised. As he drove, he told me how special it was to share space in the same house, that I would always have a home with him wherever he might be. He turned to look at me and asked, "Can you tell me the story about your diagnosis?" I told him that in my adulthood I found saying no to men in sexual scenarios nearly impossible. I feared that if I declined any advances, I'd be yelled at, hit upside the head, even raped, a fear instilled by men through my middle school laptop camera mixed with the fear of punishment that I first picked up from him. because it was true. Sometimes men don't listen when you say no. I shared my story, how I was raped and diagnosed with HIV, how it had turned my whole world upside down and my body inside out. I told him how I need to get on stage and perform a solo hour of comedy only days after being diagnosed. He'd been at that show. Thank you for sharing that with me, he said. I love you and I'm always here for you. He expressed gratitude for this new bond that was absent of shame, of judgment, and filled instead with love and care. Once we got to camp, my dad unloaded my bags in the humid drizzle of the mountains. We hugged and took a selfie on a disposable camera. I miss you already, Marley, he said. Watching him drive away, I felt myself release the pain of feeling misunderstood by him. I miss you already, Marley, he said. Watching him drive away, I felt myself release the pain of feeling misunderstood by him for so many years. It was as if all the work we put into ourselves separately to heal our ancestral traumas was finally paying off. Another cute photo of them. Aww. True acceptance comes from loving people for who they are. I've learned to accept my dad as he accepts me, even if it doesn't look exactly the way I want it to yet. I've noticed... Would you not go over bed?
I don't know. Oh, I don't.
It's okay, it's just soda.
It's closed.
Yeah, it tucks again. True acceptance comes from loving people for who they are. I've learned to accept my dad as he accepts me, even if it doesn't look exactly the way I want to. That part. I'm trying to get better with just meeting my parents halfway because they're people just like I'm people.
It's hard, but
it's hard, but it's good. It's hard, but it's worth it.
You have to do it. You have to start somewhere.
You have to. You just have to start somewhere else. Your life's not going to be very nice.
And, like, for me, I have to remember my parents didn't spend, like, the hours on Tumblr reading all of people's intricate feelings about how their identities, like, how people treat them based on their identities and identity politics. Like,
to be fair, I didn't really either.
But, like, parents aren't gonna know shit about the queer community if they aren't a part of it.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
Like,
but I feel like I had that fight with my mom. Like, this might be like my own experience. It's completely different than a lot of others. But I didn't really like go head first in the queer community. Like, I definitely followed those like Instagram accounts with like 40 different thousand people, and they all little emojis or whatever. Before Instagram made it impossible to log into other accounts off of multiple phones. But like, aside from like following those type of posts and like watching gay porn and reading books about gay couples, my life was kind of exactly the same. Like I said in my last video, I didn't really realize that other people weren't bisexual till I was well into my teen years. Being trans for me is just like an extension of myself. I feel like I did some initial research and I decided what I wanted to do and did it. And if I change my mind, I can always say, whoops, my bad. So, I'm chilling. But I know a lot of people tend to do a lot of queer people tend to do a lot of investigating and stuff. My mom and I actually had this argument because she's like, I got mad at her because, okay, my mom's adopted, right? And she was spending a lot of time online talking to all of her family members from Canada because she's adopted from Canada. And I don't speak French, so I don't know what the fuck half of them are saying. And she would refuse to translate stuff that I was saying into French for me. And it was really frustrating because I felt like I couldn't really connect with my family as much as she was. And she was, well, I still kind of feel this way sometimes. But I know she's trying to do better about it, but it's still definitely an uphill battle that we've been fighting. Like, that I felt like she liked that family more than the family she built with my dad and me and my siblings. So I was like, well, why are you spending all this time talking to these people online when you could be talking to me, the family that live with you, that love you, that you gave birth to? And she's like, nope, I want to learn about my Canadian family. And then she's like, when you first found out that you were queer, didn't you not spend all that time learning about it? And I'm like, yeah, but I knew I was queer from birth. She's like, well, I knew I was Canadian from birth. And I'm like, we're talking about different things.
Yeah.
We're in a I'm in a different minority group. You can't. It's like when white queers compare like homophobia and transphobia to racism. It's not the fucking same. It's not the same. It's not the same. And I used to do that, so I take full responsibility for any old clips of me saying stupid shit like that. I didn't know any better. Also, shout out to Knowing Better for teaching me a lot of stuff. He's a big reason why I know better. He made a lot of really good episodes on the Indian Removal Act and all that shit. And definitely taught me a lot about, like, racism and, like, the history about it in the United States and all that. And, like, the Great American History myth. So I highly recommend checking out that kind of stuff if you want a good, like, jumping off point to unlearning some racism and stuff. Because he definitely helped me with some of that. But, yeah. Back to the article, but I wanted to just share that, like, I've had that fight with my mom before. You're not alone, Marley, I promise. Also, if you're watching this, I love you. Thank you for being cool and awesome. True acceptance comes from loving people for who they are. I've learned to accept my dad as he accepts me, even if it doesn't look exactly the way I want it to yet. I've noticed I no longer blow up when he hurts me. Instead, I pause, breathe, and try to connect somewhere in the mutual understanding. I have so much excitement about what is newly possible in our relationship, even as life continues to slap us across the face. For me, that bruise is currently manifesting in the form of my right to healthcare and safety being stolen from me. Trans people are being targeted in unprecedented ways, and it will be unclear of how or if we'll be able to live our lives without fear of total erasure. As I welcome my dad's growing support, I'm reminded that so many members of my community can only rely on their chosen family. Our narratives, through messy or uncomfortable for some people, contain the harsh reality of surviving in a world that is trying to eradicate us daily. But we are still here. We still manage to be proud of who we are and the lengths that we have traveled to be ourselves. This is another photo of Marley and her dad. Recently, my dad agreed to come on stage at my comedy show, where a drag queen forced feminized him in front of a video where Ted Cruz discussed why trans women shouldn't compete in sports. I sat with the audience.
I love drag.
I sat with the audience, microphone in hand, watching the makeover happen in real time. We laughed as she brushed blush onto his cheeks and tucked his hair into a long blonde wig, a smile on his face as he closed his eyes for sparkly blue eyeshadow, finally adding bright red to his lips. I watched him step carefully into my long brown silky dress. The audience roared as he began to strut with a clack fan, high-heeled boots, and a sash that read Miss Western Mass. As we stood on stage together, both in makeup and dresses, I looked over at my dad and saw his gap-toothed smile glistening in the spotlight, and all I could think of was, she looks beautiful.
Can I see my picture?
Yeah.
Damn, she kinda serving though.
She's serving though, look it.
The mustache really goes
The sleigh. Also the flowers, the pride flag.
delightful.
The matching dresses.
Yeah.
That's kind. They're wearing the same fit dress. That's so cute. Also, they look so similar. Also, look at the smile. Love that. Anyway, shout out to Marley for this wonderful article. That was very nice to read. I had a very good time. River, any final thoughts?
Not like specifically, but like just if like you have trans kids, just love them, listen to them, even if you don't get it. If you're a trans kid struggling with your relationship with your parent,
It gets better, and if it doesn't, fuck them.
yeah, like it's okay to struggle and have trouble and be angry.
It's okay to feel your feelings.
And it's okay to choose not your parents.
And it's okay to choose your parents, even if they kind of suck sometimes. Everyone's parents kind of suck. That's part of being parents. But all we can do is try to break our traumas and our cycles and do better for the next generation of kids.
Exactly.
Which I hope we can do here on Queer History Matters. Any other final closing thoughts, baby?
No, really, I'm pretty tired. But that's unrelated.
Do you want to go smoke weed and make dinner?
I would love some dinner and weed.
Alright, guys. We're signing off here. Everyone have a good night. Pay the dolls. Venmo Marley! Everyone, link in the doobly-doo. Venmo Marley.
Go read the article.
Go read the article.
Yourself.
Go read the article. Go follow Marley on Instagram. Go Venmo her if you got some extra funds. And if you know any cool housing resources in NYC, drop it in the doobly-doo.
What now?
I don't know. That's something Hank Green and John Green say.
The doobly-doo.
The doobly-doo. It's like the comment section / description
Stuff
area.
that's down there.
The down there, the doobly-doo. So yeah. Anyway, protect the dolls, pay the dolls. Trans rights, I guess that's it. Yeah, fuck it. Alright. Have a good night, guys.
Good night.